Now then everybody, it's Dan from homephysique.com. I'm going to be doing a quick review of the power rack that I've got. It's the Bodymax CF475 heavy rack. Basically just going to give you a quick run through to all the little niggles that I've found with it and just generally go over a few things, so let's crack on. Okay, so first and foremost I'll just go over a few things about the rack itself. It is 1160mm wide, it's 2220mm high, and that's if you've got the attachment on there as well. And lengthwise, i.e. depth, is 1300mm, so 1.3 meters. With a rack you get a couple of attachments. This is if you go for the lat low pulley like what I've got. You get a lat pull down bar and then a short bar as well. It's a plate loaded one, but there is actually a stack you can get. There's a few little things I'm just going to tell you about this now while I'm here. If you notice the two bottom pillars, I've got two check screws in there, because what happens if you don't have that in there, when you start lifting it, they'll stick and it can be a right pain in the ass. It just makes it awkward to do it. So I had to drill some extra screws in there in order to keep the collars from moving about. Another thing that I've done with this is, I don't know whether or not you can see it properly, you probably can, but it's quite difficult to see, but basically this is, this used to have a piece of metal across it. I've actually cut that straight open so you can see, and basically that gives you a lot more range of motion with your cable, because what I was finding was that the cable rubs on the metal if you try to bring it back anything. So if you like trying to lean back or do anything, any type of pullovers or anything, see if you go past that range of motion there, it would rub. Whereas now I can pull it all the way out here, whereas before you had to just go straight down and up, and it just gives you a bit more range of motion. So basically you've got several holes that run up and down the rack. What I've been doing is I put stickers on it to tell me you know, like really easy ways to remember what height to put it at, say a flat bench press. The safeties for squats go down there, things like that. This is my height that I put my my squat for squats on. So just things like that. It's just easy to remember where to put it. The sticker's peeled off there, but you can see how it's different colour. It's a bit lighter. One little thing I would say about these holes is that this is like this is one of the cheaper racks you can get. I'd say it's like sort of mid-range for a home gym, if you get me. Or, well, actually for a home gym it's probably spot on, unless you're going to start getting commercial stuff. Usually with the commercial racks you'll find that the hole spacing is a bit closer, so you'll have one there, then you probably have one there, then another one there, so you'd have holes in between each of these. What that gives you is a lot more freedom for your heights. So luckily for me I haven't had any problems. I think just for my height and my size that I've been really lucky, because all these are perfect for me, you know, so that's a good thing. One thing here, you've got the safety bars that go across. Basically they just slide in like that, offer it up, and then just drop it in, and that's it, it's solid. I've put some rubber on there mainly because it just cushions the sound, stops it from banging so much. Question that came up last week, I think it was, somebody asked me, they've just bought this rack and they were finding that the dip bars themselves, here's the dip bar, and basically all you do with that is plonk it in, twist it over, and that's it. Basically they were finding that the dip bars were quite far apart, and they are quite wide, and it can be quite tough on your shoulders. I haven't done it yet because I've just got used to it. I found that the wider grip actually really does work the chest. If you drill another hole there all the way through, it'll just bring it in just close enough to make it better. This is a 30mm hole, so I think it's 30mm. Yeah, it's probably a 30mm hole. I mean, 32mm hole size is common size, so you could just get one of those. But that's something that I would do as well to modify this rack. So at the front here you've got the pull-up bars. Now I don't really use these. One, I've said this before, if you've seen all my older pull-up videos, I tend to pull to one side, and there is a reason for that, because that is right there. Now what happens is as I come up, I'm very conscious of banging my head on it, so I end up pulling to the right more. Also, if you notice, because this isn't a full beam across, and you've also got this piece here, I'm not a very wide person, so to be honest my grip is usually a bit closer, and what that means is I can't get my fingers around there properly, so it's a pain in the ass. So what I use is the lat pull down bar, and I attach it on here. And to be honest, I've hung off that with about 30 kilos on my waist, and I've been fine. The lat pull down bars, it doesn't bend or break, so there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way I do it. It just feels better, so that's another thing you can do. Quickly talk about these. These are like the J-hook sort of things. They've got quite a lot of play on them, a lot of travel, so you don't have to be you don't have to slam into the rack in order to make sure you hit it. You can often drop it down and you're going to be fine on that. You can change these for proper J-hooks, you know, where they're a lot more, well, you know what I mean. You know what a J-hook is, Jesus Christ. You can get them, but to be honest, I don't have any problem with these. Also, you can also buy Sabre versions of these if you don't want to be using these. I've seen people speak badly of this type of spotter bar. They don't think it's safe, mainly because there's only one little tiny piece of steel sat in there and one in there. It doesn't come all the way through, whereas a Sabre would go all the way through. So you'd have a point of contact there, point of contact there, there and there, splitting the load. Whereas on this, it's just there and there. So, well, there. God, it's really hard to camera do this type of tour. Anyway, like I say, I haven't had any problems with this. I've put all of my plates on the bar and rack pulled off this, and it hasn't made any problems. So, again, no big deal. And speaking of that, the rating of the rack itself is 363 kilos, so that's like about 800 pounds. So unless you are ridiculously strong on your squat, you are not going to have any problems with this rack. The build quality of the rack is pretty damn spot on. I've not got any problems with rust or anything. It does get quite humid and damp in here in winter, so again, I've not had any problems. All the bolts are fine. They come with nylon nuts, so once they are nipped up, they are not going to come loose, so you don't have to worry about that. Like I say, I got this rack for £400 on sale from powerhousefitness.co.uk. I'll put a link for them in the description, and I think at the moment it's about £500 at the moment with the lat low pulley. Strength Shop also do an alternative to this rack for the same price, but you do not get the lat low down pulley. So for me, really, I mean, I think the lat low pull down is invaluable, really, to be honest. It really does make the home gym a lot more diverse. You've got a lot more options with what you can do. If all you're interested in is squat, bench, deadlift, rowing, then to be honest, you're not really going to need a pulley, but it really does help, especially if you want to train direct abdominals or actually do pull downs, things like that. They are really helpful. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this little review of this rack. Like I say, it's been a spot on rack for me. I would definitely buy it again if I needed to. Only really main qualm with it is there's the pull-up bars there. I would rather have had a straight bar across, because that design is shit. But there you go. Anyway, please like, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers now.